Okay, it is 5 o'clock, April 2nd, 2024, the special city council meeting. I will call the meeting to order. Ashley, will you do roll call for us, please?
Lindberg.
Here.
Rudolph. Here. Shaven. Here. Kroger. Here. Kelly. Here. Peterson.
Here.
We have all been given the agenda for this meeting. Are there any changes? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Lindberg.
Roll call. Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Any conflicts, state them now or forever hold your peace. I would ask then to, probably for a motion to open the public hearing for the consideration of the consolidated general fund tax levy of 24-25 fiscal years.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson. To open the public hearing.
Roll call. Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
This is the time and place for public input, correct, Gene, for us? Or any other
Come on,
input?
Randy. I thought that's what we came here for tonight.
Sharon brought in a ringer, so.
He's a ringer.
Loaded questions from the crowd.
I think we've seen it in print, we've heard it a couple different times. I did a couple math classes in high school and college, and I'm still confused, so at the end of the day, it's still confusing. Gene's done his part to help us muddle through this, so we're just doing our due diligence to make this apparent as far as what we've done, so as far as our branch of this, correct, Gene? So,
Correct. I'm happy to give a
yeah, if you want to give another,
overview once again.
yep, that'd be fine.
Once again, this is a special as required by law from the House File 718 from a year ago. And it's very prescriptive. It's one of the 13 or 14 main elements of that House File 718. And one of them was to help support truth in taxation and transparency, was to hold a separate meeting as well as a new statement that was mailed to every property owner across the state, including Shelby County and Harlan. Last 3 or 4 meetings, I've shared a very similar narrative. Appreciate the newspaper, they ran an article recently on this as well. So the more we can continue to cascade this information, I believe we as a governing body, you as a governing body, and we as a public entity are certainly doing our part for what the state's asked. Unfortunately, the 2 terms that I've continued to share, and they resonate with many others, and that is the statement itself is misleading and provides the wrong impression. I was able to attend my annual conference last week with the administrators, which we have the professional development, and Alan Kemp, who's the executive director for the league, spoke to us the last morning. And just through informal discussions I had with many peers, and that Alan cemented on Friday morning when he provided a legislative update, and the terms misleading and wrong impression are consistent across the state. He also shared that at the legislative level that legislators, based upon some of the feedback they're hearing, which I know I've shared some of our legislators, that it's not falling totally on deaf ears, and that they see that they missed the mark with some of the content in this tax statement, and they're looking to make some improvements next year. Hold our breath on what those improvements may look like, yet it hasn't totally fallen on deaf ears. The opportunity is, once again, as I see it, is to try to educate more, and that at least in our store, or in understanding what the city of Harlan does, where we've been and where we're at, is that we see that we continue to be very fiscally conscious as well as prudent in how we spend property tax dollars and how it impacts our citizens. As far as public comment, I guess you've noted, we've had no one here to report. We did have one citizen stop in yesterday, and myself and a few other staff met with a citizen in the front office, and that citizen was quite thankful. And their main concern was, this is confusing, tell me what this really means. And so the two illustrations I'll share real quick. One would be, this is the statement everyone received. This happens to be the one that I received, or my wife and I received. And this was the statement that the citizen brought in yesterday. So you can see this is for 501 Gary School Drive. And you'll see some of my scribbled notes on there. And I wanted to point this out. For some, you know, I'm a little bit of a data geek and a data nerd. Yet, if we look at the schools, again, the school, the county, and the city were required to have these hearings, this special meeting. And so for the school, for example, the proposed property tax, and my scratch notes there is 14.9%. So the school's property tax asking, in terms of real dollars, is up 14.9%. The levy the new levy is 13.59, that's a 4.8% increase. Go down to the county-wide. The actual tax asking for the county is up 23.1% in terms of just raw dollars, and 12.1% is the increase for the levy. One item to note on the county request, and it unfortunately doesn't note it in the reasons there. In hindsight, I did talk well on the Board of Supervisors, and yet 75 cents of that increase is due to what all the voters voted on, an 80% approval rate, the EMS, 75 cent per $1,000 taxable valuation to support future ambulance and EMS service. So that accounts for a pretty good share of the county-wide tax. And then the bottom section is the city of Harlan. And again, our proposed property tax asking, which again, we'll be setting our public hearing for the 16th on approval of that budget request. Our proposed property tax is $132,241. That's a 6.4% increase. And then our levy, so that's this section here. Oops, if I can. So as we've talked about, our levy is going down 19 cents, which is actually a 1.2% drop in the levy. Talk that through with the citizen. They're like, oh, that makes sense. And then this also is a second illustration, should look familiar to you all. The nice little 5-year trend on all the colors, and shared this with the property owner as well. And this individual happened to say, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Why didn't they just make it this simple? So, and for example, in terms of the levy increase of 1.15%, that ties back to the tax statement of the 1.2%. And then the green here, which is our actual tax asking, is up 6.36%, which is ties back to the tax statement mailing, which you all got if you calculate a percent. It ties back to this as well. So that's our attempt to try to connect the dots and to provide as much transparency and truth in it. The last caveat that I'll share, which I've shared before, this varies by parcel and classification type, be it residential or commercial. So these same percentages and numbers don't play out for a place on 16th Street that's another residence, or a commercial business out on Chatburn. There's a sample calculator out at the Department of Management site that can help estimate what your actual taxes will be from last year to this year. But until you get down to that parcel or property owner level, will be most accurate for your individual situation. So, questions, comments? Again, compared to last year, we actually had last year a negative 3.54%. We requested less last year, but our 5-year trend is less than half of what inflation's been at 1.75%, which again ties back to, we've been subject to the same inflation in terms of the materials and services we're providing, yet we've achieved less than half the rate of inflation. So, Additional comments, thoughts? Thought this was certainly the time and place to reiterate those things which we've been discussing for the last 4 meetings.
Appreciate the explanation and the breakdown. Not easy to follow. If we could just record what you just said and put that in the paper and mail that out to everybody else too.
And we did, so we put out to our Facebook. So again, appreciate the newspaper and the last article ran. And we understand that it can become dizzying at times. Yet we're more than happy to, want to stop in or call City Hall. We'll be very happy to at least talk through it. We try to best make sense of it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gene. And Ashley, and your group. Help people understand. Any other comments? Okay. So I guess then we need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindberg.
Roll call, Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph, Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly, Peterson.
Aye.
Special council meeting is adjourned. Ready?
Whenever
Okay,
it
it's
is.
5:15 on April 2nd, 2024. I will call the council meeting to order. Ashley, would you do roll call again, please?
Lindberg,
Here.
Rudolph, Shaven, Kroger,
Here.
Kelly, Peterson.
Here.
And we've all received the amended agenda, or a couple different things, I guess, for added, subtracted, whatever. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call, Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph,
Aye.
Shaven, Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly, Peterson.
Aye.
And any conflicts, state them now or along the way if they come up. We'll have the next would be the consent agenda. These are all under one motion. First, we have the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 council meeting. Claims list number 1311 for $478,048.31. Or, I guess there was one main large one on there and a couple others. Any questions regarding those? Nope. Renewal application for Hy-Vee Inc., doing business as Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits, Class E retail alcohol license. A renewal application for Gussied Up Cocktail Lounge, Class C retail alcohol license. A renewal application for DW Gas and Convenience Retail LLC, doing business as Yesway, number 1009, Class E retail alcohol license. And a renewal application for High Banks Promotions LLC, doing business as Shelby County Speedway, Class C retail alcohol license for an 8-month term, pending dram shop review. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindberg.
Roll call, Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph,
Aye.
Shaven, Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly, Peterson.
Aye.
Next, we need to set the public hearing as the date of April 16th, 2024, 5:15 PM for the proposed fiscal year 24-25 annual budget.
As you spoke to in the special meeting, that this would be the final step of many months of work for the proposed budget for next fiscal year, of a lot of hard work and scrutiny to make that happen. And this will be published in the paper as required. And also one of the other House file changes, 718 last year, is that we were all municipalities were given an extra month to certify the budgets, and that is now April 30th. And this certainly fits within that time frame. So we'll celebrate once that takes place next meeting.
Is there a motion to set the date for April 16th as Jean's Celebration Day?
Motion.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven. I guess Ashley might celebrate that day too.
Roll call Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly. Peterson.
Aye.
Resolution 2561, local support for community garden program.
We've done this annually, and this is with 2 lots down in the Christensen subdivision. As you may recall, with the recent contract purchase of the 9 lots, that it's intended this would be the last year of utilizing those 2 spaces as we consider and evaluate other space. And the community gardeners that will continue the partnership with Iowa State Extension, which has worked out wonderfully as they administer the garden plots and the collection and also education about gardening. And actually myself and a few others are meeting down there Friday afternoon to review some layout and ensuring proper spacing with mowing and maintenance. Looking forward to hopefully another good year at the community garden. And just look for your support again.
Is there a motion for resolution 2561?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Peterson.
Roll call Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly. Peterson.
Aye.
Next, we need to review the EMS membership update for the fire department constitution. Is that something Roger needs to add?
Yeah, I can speak on it if
Okay.
you need me to.
Sure, if you want to, Roger, go ahead.
In our constitution, we have a cap of 40 members on our department, and we also have a couple articles right under the 40, maximum of 40 membership that we do allow, like 3 members to be an associate member, and we, out of that 40, we're changing EMS only. So if someone is an EMT and does not want to be a firefighter, we would change that from 3 to 8. And we feel now that we are transporting EMS service, if we get more EMTs to join the department, and it would just give us a better cushion. So it doesn't change the total amount of membership, it just states that we can have up to 8 EMTs only out of that 40.
Roger, this is Sharon. How many do we have now?
We have 1, but we have others that are showing an interest of possibly joining. And we thought with it being 3, that may not be enough. I don't foresee it being any type of problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
And in support of the countywide ambulance service and as an additional support mechanism for any volunteer squads, which again, we would be a volunteer squad being right here in Harlan, would allow us capacity to help support in that regard. And this is, as it's called for in our codes as well as the fire constitution, this requires concurrence. It's already been reviewed and voted on by the fire department, and it requires concurrence from the city council, which is why it's come before you as well.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this change?
Motion.
Motion by Peterson, second by Rudolph.
Roll call Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph. Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly. Peterson.
Aye.
Next, we have review the purchase of the ABI Force Zero turn work machine for the Parks Department. Do we have that in our packet?
It includes some information in your packet. Tim Miller is here as well, as this opportunity and idea came up fairly recently, right, Tim? I'm sorry, he's standing right there. And Jane, before she departed, Ashley, myself, and Tim reviewed this, and since it wasn't an intended or previously budgeted item, it's being put in front of you, and I'll let Tim speak to more specifics, yet want to accentuate that this is not requiring any adjustment to any requests or any adjustment for what we're certifying for next year's budget. nor is it impacting any requested tax dollars for this year. So I'll just at least get that clarified to begin with. And again, the information was included in your packet. Tim, you can provide some more overview, and then any questions you might have.
So this machine, the primary use for it would be down at the J.J. Jensen ball fields to help level them out and grade them. The biggest benefit for this machine for us is the ability to do laser grading, which means I can put a slope of any percent I want anywhere, baseball fields or even in the parks. We can use it in parking lots too, and that would just, for drainage and that way water will just run off and hopefully won't carry the product off. Field 4 is always an issue with ruts and that in it, where it almost gets unusable after a heavy rain. The high school softball field could use this immensely. We have about 4 low spots in that field that we've been trying to level out, so we wouldn't have the wet spots after a rain, and we just haven't been able to do it. And to hire a company to come out and do it, that'd be about $6,000 a field for them to come out and do it. And this way, we have the ability to do it every spring, during the season even. It's gonna save on product material that we put down on it, just we won't have the runoff and the ruts. You know, right now, if we have ruts, we just use that product to fill in instead of bringing in a clay or a soil to fill those ruts in, and then put the top surface back over it. So this will just really help that and give us a better playing surface down there and a safer playing surface down there. This machine is used in multiple major league facilities, and it would be a huge benefit. Right now, our leveling machine, it takes me about 4 or 5 hours to do the smallest field we have on that machine. And this one would cut it down to maybe an hour or 2 hours to get that put back. But then we can also take it out in the parks and use it to level out areas in the parks, get it ready for seeding, to replant some grass, where we're taking out all the trees, to get that area prepped and that for grass. So there's a multitude of attachments that we can put on this machine. We're not getting every single attachment available, but we're getting what we need to start with. So it would be a time savings and a money savings in the long run with use of the laser grading on it. So that's kind of my pitch for this machine.
And it is a demo, as Tim pointed out. It's got 5 hours on it.
Yeah.
More or less, right? And then it's about a 20% discount, and the all-in cost is $38,000. And again, the funds, as we pointed out, was some of the USDA grant funds, as well as some lost money.
So is there more than one individual that can operate this, or just one person?
At a time, one person,
Well,
but we will have multiple.
At a time, I get that, but there will be multiple staff.
We will have multiple people trained on it.
Thank you, that didn't come out right.
Tony and I will take the major training, and he and I will probably be the only ones that will want to laser grade, that will have other people trained to use it to drag fields and to do other stuff with.
But this is like a stand-on machine, correct?
Stand-on machine
Yeah.
that-
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Because you guys grade those fields when the season's going on, during the games, in between games, right now, Tim's on.
Yeah, we drag them.
Drag 'em.
Yep, we don't.
So this machine would take the place of that?
Yep,
Is it a four-wheeler, whatever you pull out there and do all that stuff, and, yeah.
exactly. So,
Okay.
and it's gonna take some time to see on which machine, the current one that we use for that quick drag, if that one's better, or if this one will be better. It'll be interesting to figure that out. But this one will do the heavy work, so to say.
Yeah, kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. I mean, funds are there.
Kim?
And our park staff do all the work at the fields, correct? At J.J. Jensen?
Parks and seasonal,
Parks, yeah, okay.
which I am still looking for some seasonal help down at JJ. So, I do need at least one more person down JJ that's over 18. So, and maybe another one in the parks.
And I think there was in the note in there about the high school, and then did you reach out to them, I guess?
They've been
Reached out.
through.
Sorry. We've reached out, we just haven't been able to connect on it. And what I would ask them to do, there's a couple of attachments that would primarily be used on the high school fields. And it'd be if they'd want that additional attachment, then to see if they would be willing, if they'd be willing to purchase.
Okay. Any other questions for Tim? Jean? Is there a motion to approve the approval of purchasing this machine?
Motion.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thanks, Tim.
Everybody?
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Let's get us pictures when it's, I guess, what's the time frame for delivery?
Part of this was they had to deliver it by April 30th.
Okay.
And that was part of my stipulation. And that's why we're going with the demo instead of used, what's a better price too.
Yeah.
By April 30th, if not sooner.
5 hours, that's barely even touched.
What's that?
5 hours on it, that's barely even touched.
Yeah, pretty much off it.
Yeah.
They took it and showed somebody it, and
Perfect.
yeah, we'll take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Next, we need to receive and file the Streets, Alleys, and Sidewalks Committee minutes from the March 25th, 2024 meeting.
Motion.
And second.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Kroger.
Roll call Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
And out of that meeting comes a pie chart of streets, closures, lines, red, green, yellow,
No closures.
no closures. Parking, that's what we're looking at, is parking. We need to look at ordinance number 2024-01, amending chapter 69.08 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Harlan pertaining to no parking zones, and the changes would include, can we do these all together, or do you do
Yep.
each one separate?
Nope, all together.
Okay. 11th Street on the west side from Tarkington Street to Main Street, and on the east side from Main Street to Broadway Street. On Victoria Street, on both sides, from 3rd Street to Exchange Street. And number 3 is Pine Street on the north side from 6th Street extending 30 feet west. And this will be the first reading for these changes. And we did have some pictures in our,
Happy to show some
Yeah,
of
if you wanna maybe do that,
the
Gene.
colored pictures. So the Streets Committee reviewed this a week ago, and we delved into the details, and these recommendations in a first reading were recommended to be presented. I would point out that the first one was citizen or neighbor came from a neighbor recommendation, and it's currently all on the west side. So it would remain on the west side between Tarkington and Main, and then switch to the east side between Main and Broadway. And the second two, Victoria as well as Pine Street, those would be new areas where there's not been regulation before, and those are primarily driven by just safety issues and emergency. Victoria is for emergency access, if there was ever, hopefully you don't have a huge public safety event or a huge fire down there, but it would help ensure that emergency equipment and fire trucks could safely get through there. And then on Pine Street, that is turning off of 6th Street, that once it changes to a one-way, trying to remove a hazard there that can be confusing to drivers. So items B and C would be new regulation. Item A is citizen requested. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to pull up some of the charts, or not charts, but some of the maps if you'd like.
Okay, I'm right here.
Or I guess those that attended the Streets Committee meeting, if you'd like to expand on any of those.
It's in your packet as well, too.
Yeah.
So now as far as show current, what proposed is.
Do residents get notified of this beforehand at all? I just didn't know on
this
these.
is the first reading, so it'll be probably,
There's not individual property
You
owner
don't,
mailings.
like you do for
which
Home
is why
business system,
when
okay.
we're codifying this or changing the code, we recommend, I can go up to 3 readings. I would recommend just from administration that you have at least 2 readings. This will, and then once it is codified, it gets published. So.
Okay. Is there a motion on first reading?
I'll make the motion to approve this for the first reading.
I'll second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindberg.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph,
Aye.
Shaven, Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Then we have review the street closing permit for Relay for Life, Shelby County, dated June 1st, 2024, from 5 to 10 p.m.
That's a Saturday, is that right? June 1?
Is it?
I don't know.
Well, let's just see.
Who can find it first?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, they moved it, did they move it to Saturday then?
Yeah.
Sure did.
Oh, because it was changed on the,
They originally had June
10th.
10th, and now they changed it, they wanted June 1st.
I think we should I guess this.
yeah, it's always been on a
Yeah,
Friday,
always.
so.
Yep, anyone happen to know? This was in front of the County Board of Supervisors this morning for their grounds use as well, and I have to admit I didn't pay specific attention to the date. I just knew we had it on this.
I just thought that was unusual because it's always been on a Friday. Yeah.
I would anticipate,
Well, and the 10th was a Monday,
Nope.
so
Yeah.
yeah, this was filled out with the amendment, I don't know if that was staff that based upon a call, or do you happen to know that, Ashley?
I do not. I could,
So maybe we should hold off till we make sure.
can message.
text her right now?
I'm gonna message
That's a great
Susie Magus. 'Cause that's whose name is on it.
Just continue to the next meeting, get clarification.
Your
Maybe next
website
time.
says June 1st.
Says
Does it on
June
the
1.
website? Well,
Okay.
Maybe it is Saturday then.
Now we know that.
Works for me.
I would recommend proceeding with that, and then if it needs amended or
We can always
adjusted, we
amend it
can
later,
come back.
okay. All right, so
That's okay.
we'll look for a recommendation
Yes, you
to,
can contemplate that if that's how you want to make a motion.
for a motion on how it is now, and then we can change it later, I guess. So,
Motion.
Second.
motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
City Administrator's Report.
Have a host of different items, go through these. Tomorrow we'll be, and Joe may touch on this as well, but we'll be having a partnership with HMU, a pre-construction meeting for their last phase of overhead to underground. And will involve some of our city department heads just to review that project. With the spring season coming up and nicer weather, a lot of activities are starting to happen, including activities down at JJ Jensen. And great suggestion from Tim, and also related to some recent conversations we've had with the Fair Board and the soccer group. It's a good reminder that the soccer fields and any of the other green space down there is not to be used for driving on and parking. So specifically, during some baseball games, that individuals will come and either for ease of access or not want to deal with the elements, they'll drive across the fields and then just park a vehicle either down behind field 3 or up on the bank behind field 4, or between field 4 and the high school field. So we just ask for the public cooperation in not driving across the space and parking there. And in talking with the Fair Board and the soccer group, we're looking at some additional measures that could help restrict access to those areas. It's not designed to be driven across and parked on. So just asking for the public's help and cooperation there. On the Furry Friends front, down at our pound, we do presently have 2 furry friends that are being housed. One of them is up for adoption, And then Thursday at 10 a.m. is the deadline for an owner. These have been posted on Facebook. We have no owners being claimed. These are not chipped, no tags. So a couple furry friends that are up for adoption. And again, wanted to get that messaged here, and it's currently on Facebook as well. Anything you'd like to add to that, Tim?
The one that's available now, his name is Bandit. He's an 8-year-old bully terrier shepherd mix. Don't really know, but really, yeah, we don't really want a boxer maybe, you know, a little bit of everything. He's called Bandit because he comes and he steals hugs and kisses from you. I'll be sitting there at the desk and he'll come right up and just say, okay, my turn. So he's a great little puppy, 50 pounds. He will be fixed, and so he's available now. And then Pugsley's a little pug mix that if the owner doesn't get in touch with us by Thursday at 10, then she will be available for adoption too. And she's about 8 months. She's just a little spitball. So.
Wanted to highlight those and take that up, this opportunity to message that. Week from Saturday, a number of you are signed up. We're hosting the Municipal Leadership Academy, Part 3, which delves into economic development and roles. That's the primary focus of that session. We're hosting that for many other attendees throughout the state and western Iowa. The League of Cities will come out and host that in the Turkelson Center. We've had 1 or 2 other events there from the league, and it'll be great to host that Saturday the 13th. Again, I think 5 or 6 of us are signed up for that. So just a reminder with that. Also with the nicer weather, before at the end of May, the pool will be open. Pool passes are now on sale, as well as swim lesson sign up. So the pool pass sale is available for the month of April with those adjusted rates. So that's out and communicated, as well as the swim lesson sign up. And just wanted to reiterate that for our community. We received you all received last week the audit report from the state for the previous fiscal year. We'll review that for actually receiving and filing that at the 16th meeting, so 2 weeks from today, and we'll cover a few brief highlights at that time. But you all received that from the state, and there was a press release also. I think Renee appeared in today's paper just on the, we'll speak more to that. Spoken to the last few meetings, and this will be the last opportunity that April 10th is the ambassador visit at the library for National Library Week. And again, shout out and kudos to our great library team. And you've heard me say it once, and I'll continue to say it, and our library is much more than just books. And so if it can fit in your schedule, April 10th at 10:30, that would be great. Continuing with some other events, the Dream Playground Reimagined Committee, in addition to their fundraising efforts, just a very active group, energetic group, ideas and innovation. It's cultivated into on Saturday, May 4th. There's been some initial social media publication on this, and it's called 5K and Game Day, to attract people and get people to go to Pioneer Park and also see all of the amenities and features there, as well as the playground that will eventually be replaced and updated, and to bring attention to that area and celebrate that 17-acre park with so many amenities from walking and storybook and adult fitness equipment and frisbee golf and fishing, and so more to come on that. But again, that's called 5K and Game Day on Saturday, May 4th from 9 to 1, and then kudos and hats off to that committee. The 4th and Main Bridge, as we've received your approval to proceed with that replacement, and targeting first part of May and June to weather cooperating. Meeting with, was hoping to meet with the contractor this week. Jeff doesn't have that set up yet to come and provide some initial staking. I know we've been in touch with HMU over the last week that there is a power line or electric line that may I think is going to need some relocating and coordinating on that as well. But that is moving forward. And the last two items I have, some kudos and recognition. I shared with you a letter, a written letter we received for our wastewater team, this in the past few weeks, but I wanted to state it here with my report, that again, we provide so many public services across all of our functions, and many of those things are taken for granted, and many times our teams don't get a lot of recognition, although we're out there day in and day out providing services and updates and maintenance. But Tim Gessert and Glenn Carlson from the wastewater plant had been specifically noted from a citizen and their education and about what was going on with their sewer line and their attentiveness, although they didn't like the outcome because they had to do some sewer replacement. That wasn't the fun side of it, but they really appreciated the follow-up and timeliness and education they provided. So hats off to Tim and Glenn, and certainly all of other staff that are out there supporting our community. And then the last item I wanted to share, and I shared this with you just through over the weekend when I returned from my conference last week. We had submitted just a short nomination, and we ended up receiving an award. And this was at the IMMI, which is our Municipal Managers Conference. And each year they look to recognize a program of the year across communities. And we had put a consideration in for our law enforcement, 28E and unification law enforcement. And we were selected and recognized, so I proudly received this last week. This will be in either next month or the following month, highlighted in the League magazine. I also had the opportunity to share this morning at the Board of Supervisors meeting with Sheriff Gross. And a couple of takeaways or comments I'll make from that is that appreciated, a year ago the courage that it took to make a very tough decision. Something had been looked at off and on over 20 years, and then I've termed it when the perfect storm happened and the right personnel in place, in which an alternate, well, probably a future delivery of maybe other services in terms of cooperation and consolidation in some cases. I know the Sheriff's Office, as well as myself, has been reached out to no less than 15 times from other communities across the state, just inquiring about, why did you do it, how did you do it, how's it working, because many others are considering this not only for law enforcement, but other ways to regionalize or share. So, happy to receive that on behalf of our team with the county and the sheriff, and there'll be more press release on this in the next month or two from the league. So,
Nice.
thought this was an appropriate time to share that as well.
Thank you.
Comments, questions for me?
Welcome signs are probably going to get close to getting put in.
Say that again.
Welcome signs are probably getting close.
Yes, welcome signs. The subcontractor on the grading is performance grading, and I know the sign company was wanting them to get started here the latter part of April. So when the signs come in, they're supposed to be delivered to the Prairie Rose Sign and Canopy the first part of May, so that then footings and installation can happen. But I've had regular communications with them, and that's still on track.
10-year project, right?
10-year project. We're going to celebrate on that one too.
It's gonna be a happy month.
It's gonna be.
Yay.
Thanks, Gene.
I did hear back. It is on June 1st.
It does on a Saturday.
Yep.
Okay.
Because the Fair Board is having a concert the Friday night.
Oh, okay.
So,
Good job.
Change. I'm sure we'll adapt. Under my report, I have a couple things. I need a nomination or a motion to reappoint Scott McLaughlin to the Airport Commission for a 6-year term that would expire April 1st of 2030. Scott has done a great job on that committee for a number of years.
Phenomenal job.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindberg.
roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
2030, that just seems like a long ways away. When you say 2030, you would.
If you work with the airports, so many of you, some of you have, and, multifaceted, although, again, Scott Pigsley does a wonderful job out there, has been a very engaged airport commission as well as previous commissions, yet a lot of nuances to aviation as well as the FAA. So it takes a few years even to kind of get your feet grounded there as well. I see Sharon nodding her head, Mayor Jay has spent some time, others as well, so.
Yeah, you're sitting in that role now, Richard?
Mm-hmm.
The early morning guy?
I am now. Yeah, no, they're pretty good, they're pretty good meetings.
It's a good group.
Yes.
And the other thing I have is not a celebration, but we need to put public notice out that the city will intend to fill a council vacancy by appointment for the city of Harlan due to, in Ward 3, Gina Rudolph has announced her resignation effective May 8th, 2024. Harlan City Council proposes to fill this vacancy by appointment as provided by the Code of Iowa, Section 372.13, subsection 2, subsection A, at the May 21st, 2024 City Council meeting at 5:15 p.m. The term of this appointment will expire December 31st of 2025, following the next regular November 2025 city election as defined by the Code of Iowa, Section 69.12. I'm just going to finish reading this, then we'll go back and look at her. You were further notified that the electors of the city of Harlan have the right to file a petition requiring the vacancy be filled by special election pursuant to Iowa Code 372.13, subsection 2, subsection A. This petition must be filed within 14 days after publication of this notice or within 14 days after the appointment is made by the city council, whichever is later. Any Harlan resident that is eligible elector resides in Ward 3 of Harlan city limits and is interested in filling this vacancy may complete a form for consideration which will be available on the city website or in City Hall. Form should be returned to City Hall by May 2nd, 2024 by 4:30 p.m. Any questions, contact myself or any city council member or City Hall. We've gone through this a time or two. This is one of those things. Darn, Gina, I know life changes. This makes a reason that you're leaving us, our community. Lucky community that gets you and your husband, but kudos to you guys. I know it's something that's got to be exciting, but tough. But so we need to fill her spot, and we'll open it up to hopefully someone will apply. And if it's 20, then we'll have to interview 20 people, and council will have to decide. And we'll go from there. But that's the option I think we would choose, I think, to do. We've done that in the past, so instead of having a special election and spend a little bit more money on doing something like that. So hopefully somebody out there would be interested in Ward 3 to fill her shoes.
The windows are up.
See, Mother Nature doesn't want you. Mother Nature.
You have to postpone your departure.
Tim's got your 2 dogs and your Jesse. Male and female, going away president.
And I'm sure we'll talk more about what she's done for our council and our city. But thank you, Gina, for what you've done so far. And good luck where you're going. But I know you're going to be around for another meeting or two. So that's all I have under my. Unless Gina, you have anything else you
Just
have?
add one item to that, Mayor. May 2nd is a Thursday. The following council meeting would be May 7th. So the timing of this, we've contemplated if there are a handful of individuals that may be interested, it would provide the opportunity for you as the elected body. Following that May 7th meeting, you could have a special work session just to talk. We could have the candidates come in, and just following that May 7th meeting, you could interview them or talk to them like you have other. So that's what's currently intended. If it plays out that way, but that's some thought with the timing there.
How about for generic terms, what's the city street interaction to Ward 4?
Ward 3.
12th and Willow?
Essentially the southwest quadrant. The best way to describe it is the southwest quadrant. A couple of ziggity-zag lines, and The wards are located out on the city website, or you can stop in City Hall and we can clearly point out where those delineating lines are. But it's generally the southwest quadrant is the simplest way to think of it.
You don't give away where you live, but just for the public to have a generic idea, right? Just,
Maybe she does, maybe she wants to sell something over in that area.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have under my report. I would move on to Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry update. Todd Deline.
Good evening, everyone.
Todd.
Just a few dates and then just a little notification that I received today. Friday night, down at Milk and Honey, the Lions Club is going to have a super jazzy evening. So it's going to be a soup supper, and the Harlan Community High School Jazz Combo will be playing. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7. The meal itself is a free will donation, but they'll also have exclusive soup bowls designed by Doug Rinkley that will have a silent auction. And the cool thing about all of this is all of the proceeds from it will be going to support the community middle school backpack food program. So go down, have a meal, take a look at those bowls and help support that program. As Gene mentioned, 10:30 on Wednesday next week for the ambassador visit. They also have a new program down there called Adopt an Author, and it's something you can check out. It's kind of a really cool program. And the one thing about it is as new books come in from your favorite authors, you'll be the one who gets notified to read them first if you want to take that choice, if you adopt that author. We do have our Fun China Luncheon coming up on April 24th. That's for Administrative Assistance Day. 11:30 to 12:30 at the Harlan Golf and Country Club. It's $20 per person, and then we have businesses that are decorating all the tables, because we have a table competition that I've always had, but a couple of years ago we threw a traveling trophy on there, and boy, it's become something that people want to possess for a year. So come down and see some great decorations and have some lunch with us. Also, on April 20th, so as we're all getting done with our taxes and when we get all that paperwork out of our house, remember that SCSB has a free shred day that day on that Saturday, and it'll be at the West Branch. And then finally, there's a blood drive from 8 to 2 on the 22nd from Murtu Medical Center, and again, we're still just way behind on blood donation. So if you can take the time to make a blood donation, please do. You can go call Ruth at the hospital to reserve a special time if you need to have a special time. And then the last notification I got this morning from the Small Business Development Center. So there's a group out there in the ether that has done a really good job of copying the Small Business Administration's logo and our Small Business Development Center's logo. And they're sending out emails to small businesses, making it seem like through the Small Business Development Center they can get an SBA loan. Well, that's not true in any way. And what they're using it for is they're using it to fish information from small businesses. Maybe get some bank account information, maybe get some credit card information, some other things. So just warning the public, that can never happen. And if you work with anybody from the SBDC, they will come from the Council Bluffs office. So if you're getting notifications from that don't say it's the Council Bluffs office, it's not our area. And the SBA will never directly contact you and say, hey, we want to give you a loan. There's a process you got to go through for that. So just want to make sure that that gets out to all the small business owners. I know we get busy, we get to this time of the year and, oh, I can give you a $10,000 loan. Well, you might think that'd be great, but just make sure that you follow it through and check it out. And that's it from the chamber. Any questions?
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Harlan Municipal Utilities, Joe Ruschenberg.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just a couple items. First, update on our water project as usual, since it's moving on or start back up. McCarthy Trenching is working on connecting our new well number 34 and other existing wells to the new mains. Holstein Electric, one of their subcontractors, is working on electric and controls in existing wells. And then McClure Engineering, or design engineer for that project, is working on well 35, which was one of the new wells to convert from a shallow to a deep well. We kind of discussed that in the past. And they are basing that design on getting maximum about 800 gallon a minute out of that one well, which is going to be great. And then the last item, Jean did touch on that, the electric overhead underground pre-con tomorrow at 2:30 in our office. That was moved up from, I think they originally were going to look at April 10th having the pre-con on that, but the contractors really wanted to get started, I think. Try to get on site and get things going. P&E Engineering, who's the engineer on that project for us, had received the performance and payment bonds from the contractor today, so they're really trying to move along to try to get everything together for that contract, get that finalized so they can get started. So things are moving ahead on that project. So other than that, that was just a couple items I had. I guess any questions for me?
Are we still looking good to not have any water rationing this year?
Yes, I think, things are looking good. We're getting those couple of those new wells that we had drilled last fall. Do not have well houses around them yet, but we're temporarily connecting those in. I think I mentioned that before, to help us with our water supply. And especially this deep well, when we can get 800 gallon a minute out of. I mean, that might be July time frame before we actually probably get that constructed and online, but hopefully that'll be coming around about the right time where the usage is really up there. Things are looking good. I mean, I can't promise that we won't have to go into water watch, but I think timing with this project, things are looking good that hopefully we'll stay out of the water watch.
Good, thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. I just had one thing. I'd gotten an email from Alex Londo. April 14th to the 20th is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. And he's talking about his dispatchers. And the folks are kind of behind the scenes. And he kind of doing something different this year is he's looking to see if you can adopt a dispatcher. In our community, if you wanted a church or a group or someone wanted to adopt them, the other kind of unsung heroes behind the scenes that you hear the voice when nobody wants to call that number, but there's always a voice there when you call that number, and so it's just kind of a way to celebrate them. And I put this out there, I guess, that he's looking if anybody would like to adopt a dispatcher to reach out to him. I can get that to people if they want to, or I can give it to Gene and put it on the website or whatever. Maybe he already has, I don't know, but that is kind of a, send him a handwritten note, send him a picture. He's doing it anonymous. You don't know who the person is. You might know who the person is, but he's doing it by numbers or somehow that it's not. He won't put the names out there, but you could adopt number 2, 3, or 4, whatever it is, and I think it's kind of a good way to kind of recognize them behind the scenes, and I may put that out there just so that people are aware of that. That either contact maybe City Hall or Alex, and he's the coordinator over the dispatch over there. And those folks do yeoman's work for what they handle every day. I couldn't do that job. That's stressful. And they had an incident over there where it was hands-on, and then they had some people recognized, saved a person. Doing some work there. Someone was there, and those people stepped up, and CPR was involved, and that's the ultimate, test of what they're there for. So I saw that and I pulled that up. So I don't have anything else. Any public comments from the public? Sharon's ringer's not saying much back there.
It's pretty quiet.
Nope.
More about tax.
Yeah.
And one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just another update as Joe was speaking about the well fields. The river access and launch site. There's many behind the scenes planning and submission, especially with using various funding streams. In this case, part of the funding stream for our river access project, which is why the most recent meeting has updated our Title VI non-discrimination filings. So for using the federal funds, there's also a number of other prescriptive required steps that we have to follow. So I've been working with LT Leon, our engineer, on this, and we've met all the timelines thus far in the DOT system in terms of our concept statement is now complete. We've got the Title VI completed, and we're still on target for a December letting that would hopefully look towards construction next spring or the following fall. So, and I know we talked with Joe and his team a few times just to ensure that once the well project is finished up, which it should be well.
Well, before you do anything there,
Yeah. So it appears as though that will be complete and no hiccups there towards paving the way for that community improvement project. So that's moving along fine, moving along as well.
And I would mention too, I guess, that you made me think of something too, you mentioned Wellfield, South Wellfield, where we do have all the Shelby County Tree Committee trees that are down there. Some of those trees got to the point where they're almost too big for somebody to move them. So I did meet here a week or so ago with Darren Goshorn with the Fair Board. They're gonna attempt to try to get a bigger spade in there and attempt to try to move some of those bigger trees. He's actually got, I think what I counted down there, he had about 29 of those bigger ones marked. Try to get those down to the fairground.
Excellent.
Since they had to get rid of quite a few ash trees down there. But hopefully they can get those bigger trees out of there. I mean, we attempted to try to move a few of them, but didn't have a big enough tree spade, and I think even Tom Connery doesn't even have it. You know, he has trouble trying to get those moved. They're just too big, but I think they're gonna try to use Sorensen's, who's got a little bit bigger spade, so hopefully they can get them out of there. Which, I mean, it's great to get those used, I mean, because it's to the point now, they're so big and close together, probably gonna have to end up cutting down. But if they can try to get those moved out of there, it'd be great.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Made it.
Good
job, Ashley.
Cried once.
I made it.
First one.
2.